What is going to change this team is a top pick in the NBA draft.
I agree.
Because you're not going to be able to tweak things on the edges, trade Trevor Ariza, and reasonably change
You're not going
the
to transform
trajectory of your team.
You're not going to transform them with the number 8 or number 10 overall pick.
It's not going to work.
It's just not going to happen.
No.
If you want to chime in, 800-636-1067. It will be interesting. We've got Coach Scott Brooks joining us today at 9. So Coach Brooks is going to join us. Had this not happened, we'd be just talking about the way that they had lost 4 out of their last 5. They got Milwaukee tonight.
Well,
that's going to be
you know what
tough.
that is? That's a big one of these.
Right.
Big L on the road.
They'll give
in
up
Milwaukee.
133, 134.
Yeah,
it's just a
easily
devastating injury. There's no way getting around it. It's the worst injury you could have. I could even argue it's worse than Alex's, but the infection made Alex's worse. But at least Alex had his prime years were behind him.
Yeah.
I really feel bad for
but
John.
At least John will play again.
He'll play again, but he won't
be the same, no doubt. But he'll at least play again. I don't think
he'll play
Alex
again,
will.
and he'll be pretty good.
Now, Kobe
Right. He
came
won't be
back.
all-star
Kobe
level.
came back, but not the
And
same.
Kobe's
You don't have the
also older. He's
you don't
almost 40.
You
Call
just
me
don't
a
have the
cynic
explosion.
if you want to.
Yeah, but all of John's injuries are making him older.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Already.
absolutely.
Already.
He's prematurely aging.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% buying the fact that he just slipped and fell. And I mean, I'm always skeptical about how guys
Me too, a little bit.
wind up injuring
that's the
themselves
first thing
like
I
that.
thought.
Me too, a little
You don't
bit.
just fall down at home, but what do you?
Plus,
Well, no,
he was
people
not
can
walk-
fall, but
He was
It's
supposed.
rare,
He was
though.
supposed.
it's rare that you tear your
So
Achilles
what do you think
that
he was
way.
doing?
I don't know.
Is he out there
I'm-
balling and
I'm
pick
not-
up?
No,
What was he doing?
could have
No,
been
he's
out
wearing
of
a boot.
Club. Late, had too much to drink. I don't know.
Slipped
thing
off a
is,
curb or something?
I need to ask that question.
I was a little skeptical too, but as people pointed out, he was taking medicine for an infection, which is proven to weaken your tendons.
Right.
And also with the fact that he did have surgery back there behind his heel. There's clearly some stuff going on.
Probably
but I
that's
have
the way
the
it
same
happened.
instinct you do.
Yeah.
Most people don't, and everyone told me the D-Hall thing where
Always
D-Hall
question
slipped.
it. You always question.
But the
D-Hall
D-Hall
slipped making a
injury,
pizza.
the D-Hall injury was a re-rupture when he had surgery like 2 weeks before. That's totally
Plus,
different.
it tilts me a little bit that he did it while he was not in his boot. He was not. He was not.
Shower and that kind of thing.
Yeah, but
That boot would be
of course
boot
it
is a
would.
pain.
a
in the
pain in the ass.
But I mean, if you want to get better, you gotta wear the boot.
Yeah, well, stuff happens.
He injured it while not wearing the
It-
boot.
I'll tell you what,
tilts
this-
me.
I
It
know-
doesn't even matter because it's over.
I know.
It doesn't even
There's nothing
matter.
I can do
Sad
about
thing
it.
is he was playing poorly when he was playing. And the whole debate was, are they better off without John Wall? And I think it's questionable. Look, for a while they were playing better. Recently, not so much. But when you have somebody who is so much of your salary cap, and you got so much money committed to the guy, and you have so much money committed to Bradley Beal and Otto Porter too, you're just stuck.
Well, sadly, they're going to have a very large sample size to see whether they're better with or without John Wall, because I don't think you're going to see him on the court at all next season, because it sounds like the recovery
Why would
time
you?
is
Yeah.
12 to 15 months, somewhere in that range, and he hasn't even had the surgery yet to repair the Achilles. He's having that next week, so that puts you in
What if Bradley Beal?
mid-February.
What if Bradley Beal's not on this team next year?
Well, then it's a full-on tankapalooza.
I'm not saying they trade him before the deadline this week, but maybe they trade him before the deadline next year. Never know.
Could be. He has 2 years
I think
left
you might
on his
have
deal.
to do that. I think you might just have to plan for a couple years from now.
You know, do the tankathon like the Sixers did, and the Sixers are just loading up. They got an all-star team now.
If Ernie were forward thinking, which I don't believe he is, this would be the tipping point for imploding the team. Just imploding, exploding, whatever you want to do with them, just blow it all up. If you have an auto taker, deal him. If you have somebody that gives you a good package for Beal, deal him. This is the
I don't
this
even
is
know
your
if you want a
excuse to
good
hit the
package.
reset button.
You don't want a good package in terms of players coming back. You might want expiring
Picks.
contracts.
Picks and expiring
Picks.
deals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Jason's right. The Sixers, look, as a fan, it must have been awful to watch them for a couple seasons.
Right.
But now, as they went through that process, they have Joel Embiid, arguably the best big man in the game.
Right.
They have Ben Simmons, who can't shoot but still puts up triple-doubles, amazing point guard. They traded for Jimmy Butler this year, and now they traded for Tobias Harris. With J.J. Redick as a three-point sniper, they may not have much of a bench, but that is a six
It's a
starting
nice
five.
cast they built there in Philly. And they made it better yesterday with that deal.
They're going for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. They see the East as being ripe for the picking, because LeBron's
Boston's faltering a little bit.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think Boston's going to be fine, but there's who knows what's going to happen with Kyrie. He's a free agent after this year, and are you a really big believer in Toronto? There's rumors that Lowry might be traded. Who knows? Kawhi probably won't be there next year. So this is the perfect spot for the Sixers to kind of make their mark.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate because I thought the Wizards had a chance to move up in the Eastern Conference standings this year. I thought they were going to be a 4 or 5 seed. Jason and I bet the over on 47 wins.
Yeah, you might want to pay that to me right now.
Yeah, losing John Wall hurt them, but they just haven't been playing good basketball lately.
Well, losing John this year hurt them. Losing him now long term with the Achilles just nukes them. It's
anchor to your team with that salary.
I mean, if he was a free agent to be, you're fine.
Yeah.
But you got to pay him 4 more years.
Right. Similar to the Alex
max.
Smith situation.
At max money.
With the Redskins.
It's very similar.
The DC curse. Maybe it is real.
Aside from this happening.
Right.
That's true.
Okay? Aside from winning the Stanley
They
Cup.
have had some
maybe you're
terrible luck when it comes to injuries.
They
in
really have.
all the sports.
2 of their 4 of major pro sports franchises are strapped right now to huge contracts, which are going to debilitate the team.
Real dead money.
I mean, started really with Bryce Harper slipping on the bag at first base back in August of, 2 years ago.
I've told you need
He's having
holograms.
an MVP season.
Has an
Hologram
MVP
bags.
season. They still go to the playoffs, but he wasn't the same.
Nobody wants to listen.
What did you say? I'm sorry.
Hologram bags.
Oh. Yeah.
I'm not sure what you mean.
You avoid injury. You have a representation of a bag instead of the actual
That
bag.
injury happens twice a year.
Yeah. I don't know.
But think about this. The 16, 18, and 10 games.
Yeah, it
in
is
3 consecutive years.
Yeah, and they got some good picks out of it, too.
Heck
Just
yeah,
took
they
a
did.
long time.
And
I'm telling you, it is an
Because they missed on a
odyssey.
couple picks.
To
They
go on
missed
that
they
tanking thing
missed on Nerlens.
is an
Yeah.
odyssey.
Missed on what's the guy from Duke? Okafor.
You're not guaranteed the first pick every year. And then even if you do, you got to make sure it's a transformative type of player year, or it could be a Kwame Brown year.
Yeah, look, it's tough. There are teams that are, look, the Wizards have been kind of stuck in the middle. There are teams that have been stuck at the bottom for a long time. Yeah. Sacramento this year is finally having a playoff push type of season. Think of how many years Sacramento sucked.
Yeah.
And they would draft guys.
Yeah.
It just wouldn't work out.
I'm just about ready just to give up. Like, as a fan, like, why even bother? Just